Syria, a geopolitical crossroads and the struggle for stability. Welcome, Syria, a land where civilizations have collided for millennia, where the ruins of Palmyra whisper tales of empires past, and Aleppo's souks hum with stories of resilience. Its story reminds us that geography, politics, and human ambition can intertwine in ways that shape not just a nation, but an entire region. Today, we'll explore Syria's geopolitics, tracing the country's journey from post-independence struggles to the recent conflict that drew in global powers. But here's a question worth pondering. What happens when local frustrations fan the flames of global rivalries? Chapter 1: Historical Roots and Domestic Pressures. To understand Syria today, we must glance into its past. After independence from the French Mandate in 1946, Syria became a revolving door of coups, short-lived governments, and ideological struggles. Then came Hafez al-Assad in 1970. He turned the chaos into a finely tuned machine, prioritizing stability and security, sometimes at the expense of political openness. When his son, Bashar al-Assad, assumed power in 2000, hopes for reform flickered, like a candle in the wind. But corruption, unemployment, sectarian divides, and political repression kept that light dim. By 2011, inspired by the Arab Spring, Syrians took to the streets, demanding change. What started as peaceful protests met with bullets, not applause. Within months, local grievances intertwined with regional rivalries, pulling foreign powers into the fray. In September 2015, Russia launched airstrikes to bolster Assad, a dramatic entry that shifted the conflict into a new phase of international chess. Meanwhile, the United States supported opposition groups and Kurdish-led forces to fight ISIS and stabilize the northeast. Over nearly a decade, these interventions shaped the conflict until Assad's regime collapsed in late 2024, leaving behind an interim government. While this government claims authority, its legitimacy remains in question. Some actors, local and international, doubt its ability to govern a nation scattered across competing powers and fractured loyalties. As Syria entered this new phase, the conflict was no longer just domestic. Regional and global powers had stakes to protect, shaping the nation's future in profound ways. And so the question remains, who truly holds the reins of Syria's destiny? Chapter 2: Regional and Global Stakes. Syria is more than a country, it is a geopolitical crossroads, a stage where local actors and global powers perform a delicate, high-stakes ballet. Iran and Hezbollah backed Assad, seeking a Mediterranean corridor. Turkey guarded its borders with a wary eye on Kurdish ambitions. Gulf states funneled support to opposition factions aligned with their interests. Russia secured influence through military might, while the United States focused on counterterrorism and selective backing of opposition forces. Europe stepped in with humanitarian aid and diplomatic nudges. Relations with Kurdish-led administrations also evolved. In March 2025, the interim government and Kurdish representatives signed an agreement to integrate Kurdish regions into state institutions. Yet the integration remains uneven. Some Kurdish leaders feel their autonomy is hemmed in, while Turkey remains skeptical of Kurdish influence near its border. Diplomatic efforts came earlier too. The UN-led Geneva talks in 2014 and the Astana process in 2017. Both brought together the Syrian government, opposition groups, and international actors such as Russia, Turkey, and Iran. They aimed to secure ceasefires, establish de-escalation zones, and outline frameworks for political transition. But picture this as a giant, multiplayer game of Jenga. One misstep and the whole structure teeters. Progress has been uneven. Some opposition groups felt sidelined, and lasting peace remained elusive. Yet even flawed diplomacy kept channels open, preventing full isolation and unchecked escalation. But one question lingers. What has this multi-sided conflict cost the people of Syria? Chapter 3: Human Cost and Political Fragmentation. The human toll is staggering. Numbers alone fail to capture the depth of the suffering. Over 600,000 Syrians have died. More than 13 million, over half the population, have been displaced. Refugee flows into Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, and Europe created humanitarian crises, testing regional capacity and global compassion. Inside Syria, power is fragmented. The interim government holds major cities, Kurdish-led administrations govern the northeast, and pockets of opposition and extremist groups persist. Yet, amid the rubble, communities rebuild, aid workers persevere. Families cobble together support networks, schools spring up in makeshift classrooms, and local markets slowly hum back to life. Millions of Syrians continue to hope, to dream, and to endure. Even in chaos, resilience endures, a quiet, stubborn flame illuminating the lessons Syria teaches about diplomacy, human costs, and the ripple effects of conflict, far beyond its borders. Chapter 4: Lessons in Geopolitics. So, what can Syria teach us? First, local conflicts rarely stay local. Geography, resources, and ideology draw in regional and global powers, often prolonging crises. Second, diplomacy is complicated but essential. The Geneva talks, Astana, Kurdish integration agreements, and Russia's decade-long involvement all demonstrate that progress requires patience, persistence, and compromise. Quick fixes are as rare as snow in Damascus. Even then, mistrust lingers, voices are silenced, and agreements can stall. A reminder that diplomacy is a delicate art. Third, human costs matter. Refugee crises, disrupted education, societal trauma, they remind us that political strategies always have real lives attached. Finally, Syria emphasizes resilience and cooperation. Long-term stability depends on inclusive governance, regional collaboration, and careful reconstruction, not just military victories. Civil society, NGOs, and grassroots peacebuilding efforts are the unsung heroes, holding communities together. Closing words: a crossroads still unresolved. Syria's story is far from over. Its journey is a cautionary tale of fragile peace, complex diplomacy, and the ongoing need for dialogue and cooperation. Understanding Syria isn't just for diplomats, it's for anyone who cares about stability, human dignity, and meaningful solutions. The road ahead is challenging. Inclusive governance, regional dialogue, and humanitarian recovery remain urgent priorities. Yet in geopolitics, patience, diplomacy, and cooperation are more than strategies. They are the tools that keep hope alive, even in the stormiest of circumstances. May we remember Syria's lessons, honor its resilience, and continue striving for a world where dialogue triumphs over division. Thank you for being part of this journey.